The Honourable Jerry Brownlee.
Mr Speaker, I move that urgency be accorded the introduction and passing through all stages of the Land Transport, Speed Limits, Validation and Other Matters Bill. Mr Speaker, the Land Transport, Speed Limits, Validation and Other Matters Bill removes uncertainty concerning the validity of speed limits and consequential enforcement actions dating back to 2004. It retrospectively confirms that local councils and road controlling authorities had the unambiguous legal power to set speed limits and will continue to do so into the future. Mr Speaker, the ability to set speed limits and enforce them is essential for road safety, and this is why the government is moving swiftly to eliminate any ambiguity, uncertainty or confusion around the legislation. Mr Speaker, this legislation, as it was first intended, is designed to protect the best interests of the motoring public.
The question is that the motion be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye. Aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it.
Land Transport, Speed Limits, Validation and Other Matters Bill introduction.
The bill is set down for first reading forthwith. The Honourable Simon Bridges.
Mr Speaker, I move that the Land Transport, Speed Limits, Validation and Other Matters Bill be now read first time. Mr Speaker, this bill clarifies the power of local councils and other road controlling authorities such as the NZTA to set speed limits through their bylaws. The bill corrects some technical legal issues in the powers available to make some speed limit bylaws and the review process for local government bylaws. This bill ensures these bylaws and the speed limits made under them remain valid and therefore enforceable. The ability to set speed limits and enforce them is essential to public safety. Crashes on New Zealand roads claim lives, cause injuries and devastate families and communities. Councils and other road controlling authorities were always meant to have powers to set speed limit bylaws. This bill makes these requirements clear. Recent information has suggested that some road controlling authorities may have made speed limit bylaws under powers that may not have been available to them, or have omitted to comply fully with their bylaw making powers conferred by local government acts by not reviewing speed limit bylaws within the required time. In the interest of removing doubt and providing clarity, this bill validates all speed limit bylaws and confirms they were made correctly under appropriate legislation, either local government or land transport legislation. While it addresses a potential problem with some speed limits set as far back as 2004, this bill is an urgent matter. Simply put, we cannot run the risk that some speed limits might be invalid while others are not. Passing this bill under urgency will prevent anyone from taking advantage of the speed limit validity question. The bill will make minor amendments to the Land Transport Act 1998, removing any doubt that road controlling authorities can make a speed limit bylaw under land transport legislation. This bill does not impact on speed limit bylaws made by airport authorities or ministers of the Crown under legislation specific to them. Part 1 of the bill sets out what bylaws are covered by this amendment. Part 2 of the bill validates any bylaws and the speed limits made under them and the enforcement actions taken in relation to them. The bill also continues existing procedural requirements for certain bylaw makers, such as airport authorities, which are subject to separate legislation concerning their bylaw making process. The bill also deems existing bylaws to have been made under the Land Transport Act 1998. This will mean those bylaws originally made under local government legislation cease to be Local Government Act bylaws and will not be subject to the review requirements in the Local Government Act 2002. The bill, by validating speed limit bylaws, is retrospective. Retrospective legislation is rare, but in this case I believe it is necessary. I have inquired as to what other options exist to correct these matters. I can advise the House that there are no valid options. While road controlling authorities could make new speed limit bylaws, this would take some months to complete, a period during which many roads could have no valid speed limits other than 100 km per hour. This creates clearly a public safety risk. I would not want police to be unable to enforce anything other than 100 km/h speed limit on our local streets. In addition, a road controlling authority could not validate a previous bylaw. This creates uncertainty as the legality of enforcement actions. Therefore, we must move swiftly to protect public safety and provide certainty over this matter. This bill makes it clear that local councils will continue to be responsible for local decisions about speed limits, which should reflect consultation and discussion with local communities. Local councils play an important role in road safety and are expected to work closely with other agencies such as police and the New Zealand Transport Agency. Setting bylaws is therefore a function of local councils. Mr. Speaker, we need to move swiftly to eliminate confusion. This bill makes it clear these bylaws were, as generally understood and intended to be, valid at all times, and that they remain so. No matter what causes a crash, speed directly affects the force of impact, and sometimes, of course, whether there is any impact at all. This means we cannot tolerate any ambiguity or uncertainty in the validity of speed limits. I commend this bill to the House.
The question is that the motion be agreed to. Phil Twyford.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Labor is supporting the Land Transport Speed Limits Validation and Other Matters Bill at this first